Hi, I'm Danner. I'm a computer engineering student from Huntsville, Alabama. When I was a kid, my family built this shed in the hills of southern Tennessee. It sat dormant for nearly 20 years and began to deteriorate. I'm currently on a mission to restore the shed and convert it into an amazing tiny house. With the help of my dad, I'm learning the basics of construction, restoring the land, and documenting our story. This is Abandoned Shed to Tiny House.
Hello and welcome back. If you saw the last video, we went ahead and tore down our front wall and we replaced it, and it is just looking awesome now. It's looking better than ever. And we really just have a few more framing projects. We mentioned that we have to finish off this overhang and continue around the top, and then we want to go ahead and do the same reframing on the back wall as well, just so we can add in our new windows and our door. Today we want to do a couple things inside. We want to work on our knee wall. And the other thing we noticed was when we're walking around upstairs, it seems a little bit bouncy and we feel like it could be a little bit more rigid up there. And when we were looking a little closer at it, we noticed that the subfloor was just nailed around the perimeter and there weren't that many nails into the floor joists themselves. So we think we're going to go in with some screws and go ahead and just try to make it a little bit more rigid, add a bunch of screws, and hopefully it'll make the floor just feel a little bit better when we're up there. So I think we're going to go ahead and start with that. So let's just go ahead and head upstairs. All right, so we just wrapped up putting in our screws in our subfloor. We put about 20 screws for each floor joist, and they're on 1-inch centers, so that's a lot of screws. It definitely made a huge difference. Just walking around, it just feels completely different. It's kind of hard to capture how it feels, but it's just a lot more rigid, and we jump around now, it just feels a lot better. So I'm really glad we did that, and I'm sure once we put down some floor, it'll make it even more rigid. Over here on our front wall, we started mocking up part of how the room is going to look like. Last time we mentioned our big desk we're going to be doing. This is going to be a place where I can sit down, edit some videos, and it's just going to be this awesome setup. And then we put in these 36 by 36 inch windows. These aren't the actual windows we're going to be using. We just kind of put our old ones here temporarily. But we also started mocking up our two sections over here. This is going to be a closet, and you can see exactly where it's going to be. And then over here will be a chase for the chimney. And so our next task will be putting in our knee walls. So you might remember we put in our collar ties on the top to create a flat ceiling. And what the knee walls are going to do is create a flat edge. So, you know, if we put up a couch or something, we'll have a flat wall, also like a flat wall for outlets. It'll just make the room feel a little bit better. And it's also non-structural, so it's really just so we can create a surface over here, a small wall, and then also with this little space, I'm sure some of you are wondering about that. We'll probably find some kind of cool storage thing we can do with that. If you guys have any ideas for what we could use that for, definitely let us know. One thing I thought about was maybe like putting some batteries in there for a solar power system, or maybe some slide out drawers for clothes, or maybe just some extra pantry space. But yeah, definitely let us know if you guys have any ideas for that. But we think we have our plan down for our knee wall, so we're just going to go ahead, get some wood, and start cutting it and get started. right, so we just wrapped up with our knee walls around the room. I was thinking since it came out into the room that it was going to make the room feel a lot smaller, but I was actually just surprised to find out that it feels pretty much just as big now. So that's definitely a good thing that it still feels big in here. You might notice that we put in this angle on all of our knee walls, and the reason we did that was so that we can come back later and put in a 2x4, and that just puts it at that perfect angle where if we want to, when we put our finishing material on, we'll have something to nail to. But we think we're going to hold off on putting that in right now just because we aren't completely sure what we're going to be doing on the insulation yet. We're probably going to be doing some spray foam, but that stuff is just extremely expensive. So we're just going to hold off on that for right now. And today we're going to finish up with framing our walls for the chase and the closet. We are going to leave this wall right here open on both sides just because we don't know exactly what we're going to be doing on the door yet. But we'll have that wall there and it'll help us feel the room a little bit better. Then it'll just be one less thing that we have to do later. So let's just go ahead, go outside and start measuring out our boards and get this thing framed up. We are wrapped up with our walls now, and this just makes me so excited. It looks so good, and the desk actually seems bigger than I expected now, so I know this is just gonna be an awesome desk setup. Can't wait to just sit here, edit some videos, look out at our awesome field, and yeah, it's just gonna be so cool. It did take us a little bit longer than we expected to get this wall in because it was rubbing up against some wood up here, so we were up there with the planer trying to get it to work, but we eventually got it, and now it's just looking perfect. We have our chimney coming up through here, and one of the things that me and Dad were thinking about as we were running our wood-burning stove this year was we might want to put a vent somewhere in here for getting some of that extra heat out into this room. So let me know what you guys think about something like that. And of course, we still have to figure out what we're gonna do with our doors, so let me know if you guys know of any ideas. It is gonna be a little bit weird just because of this slant over here, so we might have to come up with something creative. But we still have to do electrical and insulation first, so we're probably gonna do those before we get to the doors. But overall, I'm just so excited with how this room is turning out. It just seems like it's gonna be so awesome, so I'm just so happy. But I think that's going to be a wrap for this video. Big shout out to all of you who have liked the video, subscribed, and a special shout out to everyone that backs us on Patreon. We really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.